Good evening, guys.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Joe's still muted.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've done
there.
it a few times, Joe. More than a few
Oh, well,
times.
I've done that mistake a few times.
Happens to Nick all the time.
But he's never on time either.
That is true. That is true. Uh, Working on sharing this thing out.
I'm making some notes. I'm gonna apologize to the audience and viewers ahead of time. I'm dealing with some sinus issues. I'm gonna try not to sniff and sneeze and everything else on camera.
Yeah, we don't want to get all that snot all over the audience.
This isn't Gallagher.
Yeah. And of course, I am off camera because my forehead is, well, for lack of better terms, I've got a big head.
You got a uh, I can't think of the name right now. We can make the joke.
No, I've got a balloon underneath my forehead, and I am filled up with 25 cc's of saline, which is a lot. And this coming Monday, I am going back to get 10 more cc's.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it is not. It is the worst thing in the world right now. Probably the worst thing I've been through since the start of this entire journey. So I already know that this coming Monday is going to be really bad, but I am already on muscle relaxers. The the doctor tripled me up on that medicine. Um, so maybe Monday won't be quite as bad as it was last week, but last week was extraordinarily bad. So, all right. So, in the spirit of not wanting to get the audience covered in stuff, we're going to try to breeze right through this thing. See if we can get this thing done in an hour. Anybody want to take any bets?
I ain't taking that bet. We'll
I'm
get
not.
off track and start talking about other things.
We always do it, and I know for this first one here, we're going to have a lot to say about this
Well,
first
you
match.
It
know,
shouldn't take that long to do
there
this
was
one.
also a lot of releases too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that's
definitely going to have to cover that when we
But
get done with this.
the first match, that one was kind of disappointing.
yeah. I knew that the outcome, what the outcome was. Uh, just the way they're pushing over.
Yeah,
Um,
but you
it
know,
should have lasted a little bit longer, but I think they're wanting to build him way up like they did Goldberg back in the day.
the thing about that is that yeah, it should have lasted a lot longer. You know, it it was by far. I don't think I've seen anybody manhandle. You know, now I'm getting a brain fart.
Brock,
Brock, yeah. I've never seen anybody manhandle him like that before. You know, and and the way he kept doing it day after day before WrestleMania. He'd show up and they'd get into it, and old Bud be on the end. I knew that was going to be the result, but I was disappointed because I was expecting a true slobber knocker, one that was going to last a while.
Well,
You
it
know?
may be the fact that Brock. I mean, even though he is very athletic, he may be at the end of his career that he can't go as long
Well,
as he used to.
he probably doesn't have the stamina anymore with all the injuries. I mean, wasn't he in MMA also?
Yeah,
A little while, yeah.
That cage fighting, the cage fighting.
yeah,
That could also explain his quick elimination at the Rumble too.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's got to be riddled with arthritis or some. He's got to be in pain every day by now.
Oh yeah. Well, he's 48 years old, and as much as he's done on top of wrestling, the MMA, and what little bit
Well,
he's done with football, he has got to be battling some stuff.
yeah, yeah. Plus, he's married to Sable. You know,
Yeah.
time. You want to retire while you can still hit that.
I think she looks better now than she did back when she was, in the Attitude Era.
I don't know. I just remember her being with that Mark Merrow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is that
he was
his
with.
name, Mark Merrow or something? He
Yeah,
kind of looked like a Little Richard.
he was an ex Golden Glove guy. He was a boxing champ.
Yeah, but I don't think even him at his prime for that would be able to withstand Brock.
No, I mean, there's so many talents and all that had a lot of potential that just got, kind of pushed to the side from the organization, or they just didn't have it themselves.
Right.
A lot of potential, but just didn't pan out.
Now, I personally think that the match was what it needed to be, that it needed to be as short as it was for multiple reasons. One being obviously Brock's health, and two, I think that the match was cut short more on his end because if you notice, Oba looked really shocked that he got the win already. Like maybe he was expecting it to go a little bit longer than what it did.
Right.
And the word out there is, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this too. The word out there was that nobody knew Brock was going to do this retirement thing.
That's what I think. I think if anybody knew, probably Sable, maybe Triple H, a
I
couple
don't even
people
think
at
Triple H
most.
knew.
Uh, I don't think Paul knew the way he reacted. And I
Yeah,
know it's theater, but I think he truly was he was shocked.
Speaking of Paul, I did see a video yesterday from the other side of the ring, and it was kind of hard to tell. 'Cause it looked like he was rubbing his eyes, but somebody was saying that he poked his eyes so that he could get those tears and get his face to be in that kind of like expression where he's really sad or hurting. Uh,
But during the
saw
retirement
the
part,
video, but it was hard to tell.
I
yeah.
don't I, I
Some
don't think it
people,
would be.
some people read into them videos too much.
I
And
don't think it would be that hard for Paul to genuinely feel sadness and all that from during that if he didn't know, or even if he did know,
yeah,
just the moment itself,
I don't think you have
will
to
have an
poke
effect
his
on him.
eyes to bring up some tears.
Now,
I would say he didn't know.
I mean, that guy. I mean, I watched the documentary on Paul Heyman and what he went through to to get into the business and how much he loves the business and how much he helps people behind the scenes, I don't see how he couldn't get choked up over it, whether he knew or not knew.
Yeah, that's me. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's anything. I don't think he had to do anything to his eye to make himself
No.
tear. I think it was just the moment's going to, in itself, is going to be enough.
And another thing to look at is right before Brock and Paul hugged, Brock did the X sign with his arms, signifying that this was not part of the plan. Uh, Now I don't know if that was specifically for him and Paul or if that was for the whole plan.
Who knows? It's one of those things you'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, I would dare say that this whole thing with him and this retirement thing is probably going to be on the next season of Unreal.
Good dude.
Yeah. But even if it's not, um, I think that was a great send off for him because as soon as people realized what he was doing, it was like, thank you, Lesnar, and clapping for him and all of that, which is very well deserved. Um, and it also kind of throws a little wrench into the plans.
Yeah.
Tell people outside your door to shut up.
Yeah, it's loud mufflers.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's the people driving by Donald's house.
Oh, it's my.
Oh, that was yours?
One man. I got my regular headset in, so it ain't my beats picking up, grasshoppers out there cracking in the grass.
I was going to say because in the past we used to be able to hear people with loud mufflers driving by your house. Well, anyway, um, like I was saying, there was that plan that was thrown out that Brock was kind of. I don't want to say it was ratted out, but John Cena had said in an interview last year that Brock was finishing up in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is SummerSlam this year.
Right.
So a lot of people were under the impression that that was where Brock's last match was going to be, and that it would probably be against Gunther. But if this is his last match, I think that was the better choice because that really puts Oba into that next level.
Well, yeah, it does, and they really needed to push Oma if Brock was going to retire anyways because he's the next big man.
Well,
You know.
the issue I have with the Oba thing is they really don't have anybody right now that would be a good uh, matchup.
No.
None. I mean, they're already. I mean, you can tell after WrestleMania, after post show, they were already wanting Roman and Oba.
But
And this is not the right time for that.
No, that's a WrestleMania match.
now the whole thing with the Oba as well, I heard is they're going to start that record to beat the Undertaker's record using Oba. So every time the guy goes to WrestleMania, he's
I'm
going to
sorry.
win.
I'm sorry. They didn't leave that alone.
Yeah, that I no I did.
Yeah.
That's a
Even if they try, there are so many variables that's going to come into play with that. He's got
right.
to stay. He's
I
got to stay healthy
Well,
the whole
the
time.
thing is, my opinion is they should leave it alone, and it shouldn't have been broken in the first place.
I
But
agree with that.
but now here's what I heard about it getting broken is that the Undertaker should have called off the match. all right, because he wasn't 100%. He was suffering. He was just getting over pneumonia real
Well,
bad.
He got concussed that day.
And well, his breathing wasn't even right. He still couldn't breathe fully. Wasn't at 100%.
well,
So
it's
yeah, it was
Taker.
all fluke.
Taker wasn't gonna not wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah, so okay, Oba just turned 28 a few days ago, so he was 27 when he had this match. Undertaker went to 21-0, which means we're already pushing over almost 50 just to match that. And that is if he
Yeah,
makes it
see,
every single
and
year
that
without
doesn't
any.
make. And for somebody to try to match that, yeah, they're gonna be old and have
Yeah,
to
They're
be
not gonna
around
do it.
that long, and yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
no.
You know, it's more feasible to go after Ric Flair. Ric Flair's. How many times he held the title, and see that ain't even accurate in my eyes.
No, they're off like 6 or 7.
Well, even talking about the streak and all that, you know, for whether it was scripted, whether the outcome was scripted or not, you know, let's just say it was that Brock was supposed to win that match and broke the streak. He was the wrong person, in my opinion,
Yeah,
because he didn't need that push.
nope.
He's already big. They
Right.
should have gave it to Bray. Um, well, of course, it wouldn't have mattered now, but that's hindsight. But he should have been the one to break the streak.
Well, anybody but Brock Lesnar, because at that time Brock Lesnar had a name for himself.
Right,
Right.
he's
You
already
know,
big.
not just in WWE, but he had a name for himself in MMA as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, you needed to give it to somebody that was like, should be up there further and stuff. And it wasn't even Roman. People said, "Oh, Roman should have done it." No,
The,
Roman was already up there.
the time frame is totally different, but if you had Taker in his prime or Oba back in the day, he'd have been the prime one.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
You know, so the next best thing is beat Brock. Like he did, but
But
yeah.
they were also looking at Edge breaking the streak, Randy Orton breaking the streak. Edge flat out refused. Um, he told them under no circumstances was he going to beat Undertaker at
Well,
WrestleMania. He felt like that should not be touched.
what was it? Yeah, Triple H didn't even want to take him on at WrestleMania.
He fought him 3 times.
Right, but he didn't want to do it because he was afraid of ending the streak.
Yeah,
well, you know, I think it was a bad decision on Vince.
it was. Um, I I don't think I have yet to hear an interview where one person agreed to that streak.
I don't know what he was thinking. It kind of reminds me in a different aspect, but I'm a big Cal Ripken guy, big Cal Ripken fan in baseball. He was Iron Man. It was 2,362 consecutive games without missing a game.
Wow.
I remember when that was happening because they were reporting that on the news a lot.
Yeah, the streak was 2,131 set by Lou Gehrig. Now Gehrig would get in. He was, of course, he was sick, so he would get into certain games and play just a little bit, to keep that streak going. Uh, Ripken, played the game, and he was the one who chose to end his consecutive game streak. He went to his manager and told him, "Hey, tonight's the night. I'm gonna sit this one out." So it was one of those things. I think they should have Taker should have had the the decision overall.
Oh yeah, you should.
He's always going to do what Vince wanted him to do.
Yeah. Um, and I do
Not to
agree
say that
that
he didn't have a voice in it. I really think if he decided, hey, no, I don't want to do it. I don't think this is the right time. This ain't what's right for business. He would have spoke
he
up.
told Vince that. He
Uh,
told Vince that, and Vince was like, "Well, if not Brock, then who?" And
yeah,
at that time, uh, let me double check. I don't know if Roman was on the roster then or
Yeah,
not.
he was on the roster, but he was already a top guy.
Not yet. He was still with the Shield. Oh, that was Roman's first WrestleMania. That on WrestleMania 30. That was the first WrestleMania. So Roman, maybe they could have worked it down the road like they did a few years later, but by then Undertaker was in such bad shape. I do think that Bray Wyatt would have been the right choice,
Yeah,
but looking hindsight now, with Bray being gone, I'm I don't know if
but
uh,
he still made his legacy, even bigger than it already is.
it would, yeah, it would have really cemented his legacy. But if we're being honest, he had already cemented his legacy before he even fought Undertaker, because he already had the literally the whole world in his hands.
Yeah,
yeah. To this day, they still, they still do the little fireflies out there when
Yeah.
the Wyatt Six show up honoring Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
yeah.
and
Well,
that was such a horrible thing that they released every member of the Wyatt Six. I that
they,
Yeah,
that
they
and
dropped it.
before they could get to the point, because that's where I said they dropped the ball.
yeah.
Alexa Bliss didn't even get a chance to join them. So, because they diverted her and put her with Charlotte because Charlotte needed a boost.
I wonder
So
if they already had it in their minds that we don't really have anything going on with them. That we're not going to put Bliss with them because we're fixing to get rid of them anyway.
Well, they had just gotten done with a several month long program with the MFT.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand their thinking on releasing the White Sick. I don't understand the release on releasing Kari Zane. Though I got a theory on this Kari Zane thing. Now I've heard reports. One report was that she was, of course, she was released and that uh, she had told somebody she wanted to go back home to Japan. That may be speculation. It may be a rumor. Um,
She made a post on X that didn't completely um, deny that, but at the same time, she said, "I did not walk away," but she didn't address the Japan statement directly. So
I'm
she
wondering
kind of
if
left
her
it ambiguous.
I'm wondering if her release is a work to because now you got Io and Asuka. Of course, they're going to wind up fighting at Backlash, and I wonder if she had going to pop back in and then turn on Asuka.
That would be pretty cool, but they already ran that angle at Backlash. No, not
yeah,
Backlash.
but they've been
They've been
rehashing
doing that.
this for years.
They've been doing that thing for the past several months. They're leading up to her turning on Asuka at some point in time, and they
Yeah,
should have done it at WrestleMania and been done with it.
Yeah,
yeah. They didn't even have that match. I don't understand that either.
Well, it's like dang Americana versus Americana match. Now at a AAA,
Yeah,
there's going to be a match versus match. That's a WrestleMania match.
yeah. It
or
was
at least something that everybody could see because you know, unless you know exactly how to watch these AAA things.
Yeah. Now I wonder if maybe they already had it in mind of releasing her before WrestleMania, and that's why that match didn't happen at WrestleMania.
Very good possibility, but hell, let her just go ahead and do it. Even if you're gonna release her, just let her go ahead and do it, and then she can turn on Oscar, and then Oscar can injure her, and then she's gone.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the first time that they've released talent within a week or two of a major PLE because they did that a couple years ago at the Rumble. I think three of the women from the women's Rumble were released less than 2 weeks after that event.
Yeah, it just I don't know. A lot of things going on, a lot of decisions being made that to me is not. They're the experts and all, but it just doesn't make sense to the fan base.
Well, they're supposed to be the experts, but I don't know. But the whole thing with Brock, if if this really is the end. Now, I have a theory. I have a theory that because of the whole thing going on with Gunther and Paul Heyman with Seth Rollins, Paul now owns Gunther a favor. So who's to say that Gunther is going to start picking on Paul and bullying him and saying, I want Brock. I know he said he's retired, he's done, but in my eyes, he is not done until I'm done with him. And he gets physical with Paul, forcing Brock to come back, and they had their match at SummerSlam. And that
That,
will
that's
be
that's
the
a
retirement match.
that's a good storyline. I just don't think I think Brock's done. I
I
think
think he
he's
is too, but
I think he's done.
I
And if he
think,
does come back and do the SummerSlam thing, it's going to take away from the whole
well,
leaving your boots and everything in the ring at WrestleMania.
yeah,
well,
see,
no, but look at Undertaker. He left his entire outfit in the ring at WrestleMania,
Sure.
and he was back in the ring a year later. But at that time, he considered himself completely retired.
Yeah, because of just the way
who
that
knows?
last match went.
You know, we don't know what Brock's thinking was when he retired, why he retired. You know, there could be all kinds of reasons. You know, but if I was him and I'm still in pretty good shape, I'd want to retire too. You know, he's got kids, he's got a good wife. Hey, it's time to enjoy life for a change while I still can before I'm crippled because of all the damage that I did to my body all those years.
And I
Well,
think
that's
he
exactly why Cena and Styles retired.
Right, exactly.
and I think that Brock is going to be a lot different than those guys. He'll come back for for Hall of Fames and things like that. I'm sure he'll probably show up at SummerSlam. Uh, but I think he's done. I don't think he's one of those that's going to work behind the scenes and do this. You know, he from what I've read, he's a very private person.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's notorious for that.
and there was one time, it's been a few years back, but they only had one cell phone between the two of them, him and Sable. They were very private people. Um,
Yeah, they moved. You don't even live in Texas anymore.
yeah, he was in Montana,
Lived
wasn't
in Texas.
No, he was in Texas. He had a ranch in Texas.
he? I thought it was Montana.
I
But
thought it was
anyway,
Minnesota.
they are in
Yeah,
Canada now.
Yeah,
rather,
Yes.
I think he's
been in Canada for a long time.
I think he's content and doing his whole
Saskatchewan.
ranch in
Sask, Sask, whatever that is.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that sounds right. Ashley,
Right.
is that the one that's bordering Minnesota?
I don't know, but I know that I heard that he is no longer in the United States. He's now a Canadian citizen.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
we're 30 minutes in and we've only gotten one match done.
Okay, next match.
all right. So the next match is the ladder match, pack ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Penta defending against Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio. Um,
Going back on the previous match we just talked about, we all picked over to win.
yeah,
So
yeah. Um, so this match had some complaints on it. Not the match itself, but the entrances. Dragon Lee, Rusev, and JD McDonough got what people refer to as the jobber entrance, meaning that us viewers watching this thing did not get to see them come out.
we
Only
got
the
to see
audience
commercials.
saw that. Exactly. Um, and that's a problem. Now, granted, I know years and years and years ago, they would, like WrestleMania 6, 7, 8, they would be doing these interviews and wrestlers would go out during that time and already they're there. But WrestleMania back then wasn't the show that is now.
No,
And
I
I
mean, you got so many damn commercials now, it's ridiculous.
yeah, I did see a video of Dragon Lee coming out, and he had this big dragon wings coming out. It would extend and everything, and I'm thinking, that would have been really nice to have on the main show.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So I don't know, but the match itself was really good. Um, a lot of dangerous spots in it.
Well,
Well, we knew
I
that was
got one
coming
thing
with
to say
Devon in
about
there.
that match, though, too. I don't think Rusev should have been part of it at all.
I
He
agree.
was
He
the
doesn't fit.
counterbalance.
He didn't fit the bill of what was already in the match. You got a bunch of high flyers and
You
then
got
boom.
all these high flyers and Rusev.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why he was in there. He was the counterbalance for that.
I just didn't see him as a ladder match guy. Yeah, he just don't fit the bill to me.
Well, when I rewatched part of it, they had mentioned that Rusev had only been in one ladder match before, and that was a Money in the Bank 8 years ago. There was that one spot there in the middle where I thought he really got hurt. Um, when Ray crashed into him and broke through the ladder, I thought the back of his head got rammed into one of the rungs.
I saw that
It
too. I was
looked
like,
that
oh,
way.
that looked gnarly. Speaking of that, Soul got injured
Yeah, I
on
thought at
it.
that point he was out the rest of the match, but he came back in and did that spot with Javon there at the end. And then there was the Mexican destroyer that Penta gave JD. And it was funny. Michael Cole said McDonough's dead on the show. And he really looked like he was too. His body just went completely limp.
Well, he did the right thing at the end, though, to keep his belt. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen people climb that ladder and they're sitting there reaching for the belt and they're, they get, somebody shakes it or throws it off balance or, and they fall. He sat down before he reached for the belt. He straddled the top of the ladder. More people should do that, and they might win more often.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
do you like that spot with Javon hanging off the?
I really thought that he was going to pull that off and
and
take it
drop
off
with it. Yep,
and drop it. That's what I
I
thought.
thought so too.
I thought he was going to break one of his ankles when Rusev pulled him down. That was a hard land.
I like Javon Evans, but I feel that he's going to wind up
Bouncy,
getting injured somewhere within the next year or so. He's going to get himself hurt some with all the crazy stuff he does.
bouncy. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
He,
I like
he
I like
is,
watching him.
um, and he's had some close calls during the last few months.
Yeah, springing up and jumping way too high for a move and almost landing on your head.
Yeah.
He's done that a couple times.
Well, they actually stopped one match on Monday Night Raw. They thought he was having a concussion, and I kept rewatching that whole match, trying to figure out where he could have possibly had gotten hurt, and there was nothing. It just automatically they called it. Hey, Javon can't continue anymore, and I watched the whole thing. Where did he get hurt? And then it turned out he wasn't hurt. But yeah, I really do worry about Javon, and he also went into the history books. He became the fifth youngest wrestler to make his debut at WrestleMania.
Oh,
The
Uh,
fifth youngest.
IShow Speed was the fourth youngest wrestler.
Oh, who's the first?
I show
Oh, it's
speed
got to be
but a
Dom.
joke.
It's got to be Dominic.
No, the youngest wrestler was actually a guy named Aguila. That was like WrestleMania 15, I think. Let me find it here, because I think it was 99.
Well, on this while he's looking that up on this match, first pick, I believe Joe had said Penta. My second pick was Ray. My first pick was Evans, and I think Jeremy's first pick was
My first pick was Penta.
yours was
Because I went Penta
and Evans.
and Evans, yeah.
I went Ray and Evans, and I guess Joe's the only one that picked Penta for sure. Or you picked Penta. That I can't think. I got too many notes on there.
Okay. It was the opening match of WrestleMania 14. It was Taka Michinoku versus Aguila. And Aguila, let's see, that was uh, so that was March 29th, 1998. Mr. Aguila was born December 10th, 1977.
So
So
what, did you have a spot in there?
he was 19 years old when he debuted at WrestleMania.
Was he actually wrestling, or was he just,
Yeah,
there?
he had a match against Taka Michinoku in the
Oh,
opening match. So so that makes him the youngest. Oh no, 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 no. I forgot about Nicholas. So Aguila is the second youngest. Nicholas is the youngest. He was like 10 or 12 when Braun Strowman put him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't he tag partner with somebody and they won the belts?
I
that's
forgot
right.
about. I
That's
forgot
right.
about him.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Well, he didn't even touch anybody. He just tagged in and tagged back out. But technically, he had a match there. So yeah, I forgot about him. He's the youngest. and there was somebody there in the middle. I don't. They actually had a list shown on one of the shows. It had Nicholas Aguilar, someone else, ISO Speed, and Javon Evans.
Yep,
Renee
keep going. I'm gonna step away for just a second.
Okay, it was Rene Dupree. I remember him now. So yeah, Penta was my first pick. Um, I was actually really disappointed that they did not figure out a way to get Vikingo in this match so that he could represent AAA.
Well, they could have just got rid of Rusev.
No, usually these matches have 7 people in it.
Yeah, well,
So I don't know why they couldn't have just added him in there.
maybe scheduling conflicts.
I have no idea, but it would have been cool to see Vikingo in there because he would have really riled that crowd.
Well, there's a lot of those guys from AAA that I would have loved to seen in that ladder match. You know, because there's two people that I felt didn't even deserve to be in there, and that's Rusev and JD McDonough.
I
You
think
know,
JD was put in there because of what he did last year when he had that really bad injury. So I think he was added in there so that he could have a WrestleMania match under his belt. That's my
maybe, but I'm just saying, it would have been cool just to see a bunch of high flyers or lucha libre people in that match for the belt, and we would have seen a lot more amazing things happen.
Well, technically, we did have 3 former AAA wrestlers in there.
I get that, but
Yeah.
you had the two oddballs that just didn't fit.
You just can't get over Rusev.
I can't, and I don't like D McDonough either.
Well, I thought I muted that.
But everybody else in that match, I like. I really like them. I've always been a Rey Mysterio fan.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh man, and what is he now? Like 51? Yeah,
I
he's 51 years old.
I think he was just in that match to make the others look good. You know,
He definitely did.
because that younger generation is, you know, really showing to be something. I mean, you got Oba Femi, you've got Bouncy, you've got all these guys, and you know, some of them are coming out with better characters than their predecessors.
Yeah. I think Ray was probably thrown in this one because he literally lost his WrestleMania at the last minute last year.
Yeah, they don't want to leave out the legends
Yeah.
that are still wrestling, guaranteed Hall of Famers, and you know.
Oh yeah, we saw
Um,
a bunch of future Hall of Famers.
well, I think WrestleMania kind of sucks now compared to what it used to be.
I
Yeah,
agree.
they used to have a guest star referee, a guest host, not a former wrestler as a host. You know, I mean, it's changed.
Talk about Ray being put in this match. I think it was to boost ticket sales.
Probably.
Uh,
I'm still waiting to see the one match that they are going to have to show eventually. They're going to have to come up with it because the two brothers want to do it. All
oh,
right.
Penta and Phoenix.
Huh?
Penta versus Phoenix.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm waiting for.
They should probably do that while Penta is champion and giving his brother a title shot. They should probably
That's
do
what
that.
they want.
Yeah.
I heard that both of them agreed to come to WWE under the condition that at one point or at some point they get to wrestle each other for a belt.
Well, this would be the right time to do it. All right, let's move on. Um, now, I want to lead in with this one. We had Obafemi in the first match. Javon Evans was in the second match. And then rounding out the trio because last year these three just fought and fought and fought, and they were all amazing with each other. Trick Williams taking on challenging Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. Um, and I'm pretty sure everybody knew that Trick was going to win this one. And what kind of gets me is Little Yachty was with Trick Williams. That I believe was probably only because of ticket sales.
Yeah, yeah.
And Trick Williams came down the aisle with the longest train I think anybody has ever seen.
I don't even think I've seen a wedding train that fucking long.
I know Donald said something about Princess Diana, but I don't know how long.
I don't remember that wedding. That was a long time ago.
I want to look it up. Longest wedding train.
Trick Williams.
Okay, let's see here.
He kind of reminds me of Booker T in his younger days when they were Harlem Heat.
A lot of people have been saying that. Okay, Princess Diana, her train was 25 feet. Guinness World Records. Longest wedding train dress ever could almost cover Mount Everest.
Holy shit!
The gown was, oh, I don't even know how this is even possible. It's saying that her train was 26,559 feet.
How could that be?
I don't know. Wow.
Anyway, I thought that was a little bit ridiculous on Trick's part.
I don't know if even he was expecting it to be what it was because he kept looking back at it. You're muted. Donald, you're muted.
Sorry, my sinus is just kicking my tail.
Well, we're halfway through. We're in the Trick Williams Sami Zayn match.
Yeah, that wasn't that good of a match.
We were talking about Trick's train and wondering how long it was. You had mentioned Princess Diana.
Oh yeah,
Her wedding train was 25 feet.
his was longer than that.
Oh yeah, Trick's was like 3 times as long. Now I just did a search to find out the world's longest wedding train, and I found it on the Guinness World Records, 26,000 feet.
What the hell? Why?
I don't even know how that.
Good question.
That's a
Why?
lot. That's a lot of damn fabric.
I don't know how that is even remotely possible, but it's there. Uh, Says here, construction company Dynamic Projects, with the help of 15 volunteers, spent 2 months stitching individual pieces of the train before sewing them all together to form a whole.
That's ridiculous.
uh,
Mhm.
and this
They
was
just did that.
okay.
They
This
did
was
that because
published
they
in
could.
2017. So this was, yeah. I don't know why. I'm not even sure how that would even have been possible. That's a lot. That's like over 5 miles.
That's overkill.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a record like that will never be broken. But it's the previous record was set in 2006, where the wedding train was 15,000 feet. So I don't know if anybody is going to be ballsy enough to try to break that one. But anyway, and Donald, let me know if you agree. I believe that the reason that Lil Yachty was with Trick Williams was to help ticket sales. I
I
don't see
agree.
any other
Uh,
reason why he would have been there.
I agree.
Well, they're trying to boost in the younger generation, boost ticket sales by getting all these rappers and younger, people, listen to these rappers. So you get them all sitting and you got to point them all out in the audience as well. And
Here's my thing. If you want a TKO, if you want to boost ticket sales, lower the damn ticket prices.
prices,
Yeah,
right?
no kidding.
That's how you reduce. I mean,
Well,
I've always said,
that's with anything nowadays.
I've always said, on a product, you sell it at a cheaper rate so that more people will buy it. Eventually, you will make a lot more money in the long term
Yep,
than you will having high prices where only certain people can buy this.
Right, and it also helps out the venue because if they have more people there, that's more people buying drinks, buying food, and also buying merchandise.
Exactly.
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 So it boosts sales. That's how you boost it. Lower the ticket prices. Don't get these rappers and pay money for these rappers to show
Yeah.
up. Use the money to lower the fucking ticket prices.
Right, but here's the funny thing. Last week, Maven put out a video. He crashed WrestleMania. Well, he didn't make it past the ticket people. He didn't have a ticket, but he was interviewing people as they were coming in. And a lot of the people that he talked to waited until the last day to get a ticket. And one guy said he bought floor seats for $300.
Yeah. I saw some of that.
And I'm thinking,
By the rampway, by the entranceway.
I never did catch where he was at. I just heard floor seats, 300. And I'm thinking, holy shit, I could have gone to this WrestleMania if I'd have done that.
Yeah.
Um,
There was a couple people I saw a couple videos where they talked about that, and they were right at entranceway.
yeah, so
It's like,
think about those guys that spent $15,000. How upset they had to have been. You know they were upset when they started doing the discounts.
yeah.
I know I would have been. Um,
I saw a video where some fans were going to ringside and stealing some of the chairs. You got arrested for it because they had a certain colored armband on,
yep.
where those people could take the chairs home. They were just helping themselves to some of the chairs.
Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 different checkpoints they had to go through before they could finally get out of there.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I want to bring this up. Going back to Oba. Now, everybody in the audience was doing the Oba strut.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we didn't know. There's another YouTuber. His name is Choi Dan. Um, really annoying. He's a gamer, but he goes to some of these big events, and he was doing videos on both days, and he revealed that on day one, at some point during one of the commercials that we were seeing, they were having the people in the audience doing the overstrut while playing his intro and everything, the music, and having people doing the strut. And I think that they took clips from that and added it to um, his entrance on today.
That's a very good possibility.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Over is already insanely popular. Everybody is doing the strut everywhere.
It's
Why would
annoying.
they feel the need to do this? They have enough cameras to catch the audience.
It, it, it's a to me that thing, and then you got the of course you got Yeet, and then you got the tag team that just come out the other night. Um, God, I can't
The
think.
movement is dying.
Anyway, they were doing this. The audience was doing this.
Oh, that's Joe Hendry.
No, well, yeah, yeah. When he did his little concert thing on Raw, I don't understand what that shit was all about. It was retarded.
That that was had no business being as catchy as it was.
It
The
was
line,
good. I mean, I laughed about it,
yeah.
but why are you putting Joe Henry in there to sing and play the guitar like dang,
Well,
well,
I
The Rock
think
on
they
it?
want to get him already involved with a big name. So getting him
Well,
in Logan Paul, I think.
I get it, but there's another way to start this feud off.
Yeah, well, I think this was also their way of acknowledging, the fans' unhappiness about the releases, like a subtle way,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
they would not have allowed that to happen if they didn't want it to.
They also said that the releases were due to business cutbacks. What did they say?
Well, if they wanted to do
Budget cuts.
business,
That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Budget cuts. And
yeah, if
I'm
they
like,
wanted
well,
to do budget
you
really?
know
cuts,
what?
With TKO's money and the WWE's money, you're talking budget cuts?
You
Really?
know what?
Oy
You know,
Emmanuel made 62 or 67 million dollars.
well, you want to work on having to cut your budget because you're not bringing in as much. There again, lower your damn ticket
Ticket
sales.
prices.
And lower the merchandise price. Some of those
Oh yeah,
championship belts were costing like $2,000.
yeah. I saw
Well,
that.
you had Tomahawk
Even with
steaks
the
for
discounts.
$500 the first night, and then they're discounted the second night for like $150. I ain't paying $150 for no damn steak.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit how good it is. I eat a damn $20 hamburger.
yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's get back into Trick and Sammy. I feel like we're really giving these guys the bad rep here by talking about so many other things.
You know,
Uh,
I want to. I want to see Sammy turn and heel, and I think we're going to get that. Uh,
oh, he's already healed it. I think he's already turned,
Mm,
especially after SmackDown last week. He's full blown heel.
I didn't get to see SmackDown.
Well,
I
he he,
can't watch
fin-
SmackDown.
he actually did what I was wanting him to do the previous week. He was
The
inside
Gingerbread
that
Man.
gingerbread outfit. Remember, because I kept saying that's Sammy, that's Sammy, that's Sammy, and it turned out to be someone else. Well, last week it was actually him in that outfit, and he started beating up on Trick and Lil Yachty. So yeah, he's full blown heel turn now.
Oh, that's good. It's about time.
Yeah,
The gingerbread man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He should have been Gingerbread Man the day before WrestleMania, but
Yeah, that would have been funny.
it would have been because I was calling it Sammy's Gingerbread Man, Sammy's Gingerbread Man,
Well,
and then all of a sudden he came out from the gorilla position. No, come on, you guys had a great opportunity there,
that's
and
why I
then they
said
finally did the last
they
one.
dropped the ball on a lot of things,
They really have. Well, you know what? Okay,
including the
going with
releases they
that,
made.
there is a rumor, and if it's true, this makes a lot of sense. There is a rumor that they used AI to completely map out the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match from night one. And with all the different twists and turns and confusion and everything, it would make complete sense if that's actually happened.
I don't know. I just know that they're dropping the ball, and I also heard a rumor that Braun's on his way back.
Braun Breaker?
No, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman.
Oh, no, I did not hear about that one.
I heard he's going to make uh, an appearance at Backlash or SummerSlam.
Well,
It'd be nice to see him again.
going back to the AI comment.
But it's too late now
Yeah,
because
that's
the
right.
Wyatt Six are gone.
But when you really think about it, Braun in his more recent characterizations would not have fit in the Wyatt Six.
No, especially after his show.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the guy is hilarious. Well, I my son-in-law actually met Braun Strowman
Yeah.
and had a one-on-one with him before the taping of a wrestling event in Milwaukee. I think it was last year or the year before that. And they sat down and talked a bit. And what I found out about Braun Strowman is like, wow, blew my mind. You know,
Well,
he,
I heard that.
he really likes Wisconsin. He calls Wisconsin his home.
Well, I heard that in real life, Braun is a really nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's a big old teddy bear basically, you know. But the thing is, I like that show, uh, one of everything, you know, on the menu or everything on the menu or whatever it was called. And the looks on some of those people's faces when he's like, "I'll take everything on the menu," you know.
I used to be able to do something like that.
And it's like, you know, I like the looks on the people's faces when he orders that, but at the same time, you know, he's been at some. I knew right away he's going to, you know, restaurants in Wisconsin area. He was going to hit a couple of those first.
Well, somebody of his size, he needs to eat a lot of calories just to be able to keep up with his metabolism.
Yeah.
So it was very clear early on that even though he's supposed to be a heel, the fans were getting solid behind Trick Williams. So there was a plan in place, supposedly, that they were going to do a double turn similar to what they did with Brett and Austin back at 13. Um, I don't know if it. I feel like this one here was more subtle with the double turn because for that match, it was immediate with Brett and Austin. This one here, I think, was more gradual over the weeks, with Sammy becoming more complaining, more bitchy about this, and Trick doing his lemon pepper steppers thing, and how that ever got over, I don't, I don't
I
understand.
think it's just the way it rolls off the tongue,
It
because
probably right.
like John did, this all of a sudden comes popular because of EO Sky,
Yeah, even
I,
Triple H
I
said,
still,
if he'd have told me this, would have gotten over, it's like, you're crazy.
I still don't get that.
I don't either. But,
Yeah.
you know,
I
But
don't know.
last year, I loved the way that she did that little temper tantrum when Rhea and Bianca kept ignoring her.
Well,
She knocked
other
them
people.
both down and started jumping up and down. I kept saying that was the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
Well, look at here's another piece of history. You're talking things like that, lemon pepper steppers and stuff. And then there's people that dance in the ring like Jacob Fatu. How he dances in the ring after he does something. That goes back to Ivan Putski and all these other kind of not so big but muscular dudes doing their little dance, Junkyard Dog, and the way he used to dance in the ring.
Oh,
My
he was
mom,
insanely over.
my mom was a huge JYD fan because of the way he danced in the ring.
I loved JYD back in the day.
All right, now last year there was a song called "Lemon Pepper Steppers" released by a group called Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemists. I haven't listened to it, but I can already tell it is one of those majorly vulgar rap songs. I also heard that there is a Bruno Mars song that he put out on an album either this year or last year that has that phrase "lemon pepper steppers" in it. But either way, I think that's what Trick got got that phrase, and he just used it one day and saw that it got a reaction.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you say something, it just takes a world of its own. Like, Austin 316 said, "I just whipped your ass."
Oh man,
That's just gold.
it was. Um, and and Trick Williams, you got to give it to him. He's a hell of a dresser. He's got style. Um, but I do believe absolutely the right choice for him.
Excuse me.
Boy, what is it with you two tonight? I think is absolutely the right choice. Chuck Williams winning the United States title.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
And the way they're pushing certain individuals, I knew that he was going to wind up winning.
yeah, because he's got star power all over him. That's
Well,
very
like
apparent.
I said, when I first saw him, the first thing I thought was, you know, now in Booker T. Back when Booker T was part of the
Harlem
Oh,
Heat.
he,
Heat with his brother. That's what he reminds me of.
When I first saw Trick, he was with Carmelo Hayes, and at the time he wasn't even a thought to be a wrestler. But when I saw him, I'm like, Dude, this guy's got a build to him, and you can tell he's got charisma.
Hmm.
And as soon as he took his shot with Shawn Michaels, saying, "Hey, you know, I want to be your number one guy," and he started giving him a little bit of a push, it was off to the races for him from that point. So I can easily see him main event in WrestleMania within the next 5 years.
Definitely the next Booker T, that's for sure.
Yeah. Not necessarily win the Royal Rumble right away, because I think that's going to be over next year. But I do believe that Trick Williams is going to be a world champion within the next 5 years.
If they do overright and just keep the little hints here and there between him and Roman throughout the year,
Well,
you know, I
when you
think
were saying something about Oba and Roman at SummerSlam, I did see where there was a rumor about Oba being King of the Ring this year. I don't know. I don't know if that would be the right choice. Like let him build it a little bit over time, but at the same time, I can understand that you really need to strike the iron when it's hot.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, give him all the accolades throughout the year.
Yeah.
Let him win every damn thing, and then your trajectory is going to be for WrestleMania next year. I'd still like to see The Rock and Roman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe if they get to the in the uh, trajectory for Oba winning WrestleMania next year, beating Roman, and then Roman versus Rock. I don't know. There's a lot
That,
of
that would
speculation.
take that would take some doing because Rock would have to come back and get the ring rust off.
Well,
Yeah.
he can do that.
And
He can
gone
do it.
too long.
Training.
Well, he looked pretty good a couple years ago when he had that one and only match there in the tag match.
You know, I'm
Uh,
just saying.
the thing that I wonder is because of it being in Saudi, is are they going to try to bring Brock Lesnar back for that one? Say, hey, if we pay you $20 million, come here and have one more match. It'd be pretty kind of hard to turn that down.
Yeah,
Uh,
but at the same time, it's like you know quality of your match, regardless. Don't come back in and just do a bunch of belly to back slams.
well, I
Suplex City.
I think in Brock's case, nobody has ever accused his matches of being fluid because it's 75% German suplexes nowadays.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch. It's not entertaining if that's all you're going to do. It's like watching Big Papa Pump and Triple H fight that one time.
I
It was
know.
boring as hell. The fans were booing that match while it was going on.
Yeah, but this is Saudi. So this is a completely different audience. Okay, let's move on. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. We find out a couple weeks ahead of time that Finn Balor was going to bring the demon back out. I think that was a mistake. They should have made let that be a surprise for us.
Yeah, that's the other place they dropped the ball.
Yeah, and then the day of, they announced that it is going to be a street fight, which I could go either way on that one. I don't know if that would have been the right match to have a street fight. I can understand why they did that,
Food
but
sales,
huh?
food sales.
Yeah, but the thing about having the street fight, then that just leaves it wide open for all of Judgment Day to come out and interfere, and not one of them came out.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about the whole demon thing coming back. They did the poster, they announced it all that. We all agreed that was dumb. Why do a little hints here and there and the little promos with him with his eyes turned black? If we're just going to put the shit on the poster.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, during the Black Eyes thing, I like that. Even if we did not know that Demon was coming back, I think that would have been good to try to hint that Demon was coming back.
Right. And you already speculated that it was. You already
Yeah,
setting the hook for it. But then you just like screw it, just put him on the poster as a demon. And it could have been ticket sales again. It's like, but build that suspense up.
Hmm.
Don't give us the ending before you even get started good.
Yeah, because these pay-per-views are supposed to be full of surprises, and they keep giving away things they should keep secret until the day of, or the minutes
Moment
before
of
the match.
when Edge came back,
Yeah,
that was huge, huge.
oh man, that place exploded when he
Yeah, that
did
was just a
that.
freaking huge pop, man. Just
Yeah.
and see, think about the pop as if okay, this it's Finn Balor versus Dominic, and it's going to be a street fight, and nobody knows until the minute the music hits and he comes out
right,
as as a demon. And think about how the crowd would have reacted then. But everybody knew.
right. It's kind of like the Page thing too. They got it
Yeah,
leaked
the
and
Page
people
thing.
coming
Everybody
back.
knew Paige was on her way back.
Yeah,
Oh man, that was holy cow.
Michael Cole saying nobody knew she was coming back. Well, you about the only motherfucker
I know.
that didn't know. The
Joe,
guy
I'm
selling
actually, I'm
popcorn
actually
in the
glad.
concession stand knew it.
Right. Joe, I'm actually glad you brought up the music. I am so happy that Finn got his old music back. Um, I did not like the music that he had with Judgment Day, and apparently neither did he. But I am glad that he got his old music back where they do the whole wide arm open thing. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, and now I wonder if Cody is going to have a problem with that.
It's different
it's
because Lyra does it too.
It's
yeah,
different, but it's still the same thing.
not really. Not everybody going to do it in the audience. It's like the yeet thing. It's like the yeet thing. They all do the waving like. But more people do that too, because and it's not always about the yeet.
I feel like they're trying to kill off the Yeet movement.
They ain't going to be able to kill off the yeet movement. But I think the music changed so that it doesn't say, how did it go? It went just me,
It's just
and
me,
now it says
Oos. Now
just
it's you and
us,
me, Oos.
or you and me, use, yeah.
Yeah, it's you and me, Oos. So that kind of kills me a little bit with the whole uh, Jay turning. I don't see that coming when they just change the
Yeah,
lyrics
see, I
and
don't think Jay's going to turn because I think they're going to be going for another title
well,
run.
they're gonna do another bloodline story. You're gonna add
Yeah,
that
but at the
bloodline
same
again.
time, look at the. All right, Jay didn't. What I know about the Usos is Jay didn't want to be in it, and Jimmy did. Okay, so one came along for the ride, and they both ended up being one of the greatest tag teams to ever be in WWE.
They're
Yeah,
better. They're better together.
Well,
I
many
I
people have
actually
said
said that.
that when Jay was going solo and that you're nothing but a tag team, but still he had to prove to himself, I can get the single titles. Now that he got them, it's back to tag team business with his brother.
Right.
And that's what the music signifies, and that's, because you're united now as a tag team.
I actually went back to the WWE roster on January 1st of 2010. Jimmy Uso was signed to the WWE and Jay was not. Now, granted, they debuted together, but Jimmy got signed first.
Oh, okay, so it's the other way around. I mean, I knew one wanted it more than the other one.
Well, you may still be right that Jimmy wanted Jay to be a part of a team, but Jimmy ended up getting signed first,
So,
at least according to what I saw. I have no idea how soon after Jay hopped on. I just simply looked at that particular date because I wanted to see who those that were signed at that moment on that day were still here, and we have
yeah,
like 12 of them left total.
yeah. And Jimmy and Jay are going to be around for a long time because that Samoan legacy is not over with yet.
Oh no, they still got a long way to go. And
Because I know of at least two that are in NXT. I don't know their names, but I remember once where one came from NXT. He was brand new. Maybe he came from the place in Florida to save Roman's ass. And they
Uh,
announced him as one of the, part of that Samoan thing is like Roman's nephew or cousin or something, one of those.
I know who you're talking about.
But
Lance, was it
nobody's seen
Lance?
him since.
Was it Lance?
It might have been.
Okay, yeah, that was actually brought up somewhere recently. It was just only for a short amount of time for him.
the way they're doing with the Samoans and all that, bringing this one in, bringing this one in, bringing this one in, the Samoan family will always be part of WWE long after we're gone.
Oh yeah.
Because that family is just going to keep on,
Well, they've been in
breeding them in. You know,
they've been in the business for a long, long fucking time.
yeah.
Ever since the head shrinkers got signed back in August, I think it was either July or August of '92. There has been somebody from that family signed to that company ever since.
They
Well,
were in wrestling before that company was formed.
Oh, I know, but I'm going by
I was watching
when they hopped onto
AWA.
the company from July or August of '92. There has been at least one person from that family always signed to the company.
I'll
Um,
check something right
but
quick.
anyway, let's get back into Finn and Dominic. So, one, I am happy that they are still trusting Dominic with a match of this caliber at WrestleMania. Because that shows how much faith they got in him. Um, and the fact that this is now a singles match, I think this is actually his first singles match that did not involve his father.
Who's what? I missed it.
I'm talking about how much faith that they have in Dominic for
Mm.
him to have a singles match, even at, hey, Chuck, e- even at this point, because I think this is the first singles match that he has had at WrestleMania that did not involve his father.
Well, he's come a long way.
He really has. He's still not moving around like the other wrestlers are, but his the way that he gets the audience, it's you don't see that very often. Um, but I'm glad to see that Finn got a win here because this is a big moment for him. 'Cause I don't think he's had a WrestleMania win If he has, I don't know where.
Don't remember when.
Yeah. Um, and to have the demon come back after 3 years, I think that was really good. Um, I think it did a lot for him because now he's in his 40s, and with the way that they have been using him the last few years, I'm pretty sure that he was getting discouraged about having his own solo run and things like that. And now he got this match. He got a WrestleMania singles win, and he got it as the Demon.
I wish they would. Wish they would continue on with this the demon thing, not just see it every once in a while.
Well, that's what makes it special is because we're not seeing it all the time.
Yeah, you should just like, you know, do it like during like the special like pay-per-view events, you know.
Yeah.
But I like
You
the
got a
I
match.
like the I like the darker characters. The Boogeyman, Taker,
Oh, I
White Stick,
remember the Boogeyman.
Demons.
Oh man, that guy was
Uh,
hilarious.
Well, we got the Demon back.
Well,
We got Danhausen.
I was just gonna say what he did on night two. That was hilarious.
Yeah, we are going to get into that after this next match.
Okay.
So we got Jade Cargill defending the women's championship against Rhea Ripley. We already knew Rhea was going to win. There was
Yeah.
no question about that. But I will say, Jade stepped up for this match. I thought she did really good in this match. And
I think she's been, this whole time she hadn't been defending her title. I think she's been working behind the scenes and working on her craft. Now we haven't seen her since, so
yeah,
So
you
well,
know.
a little bit more time at the training center
Well, you look at it too.
or
You get rid of
perform.
Wyatt Six, but you keep Jade.
well, I can understand them keeping Jade because she just has that look. She's got that generational look that they are looking for.
Well, they haven't really been able to replace the likes of China ever since China left. You
Yeah,
know,
Rhea's the closest thing,
yeah, Rhea and you got Jade, and the way they look, they're like the closest things to China.
and Rhea has lost some weight, some bulk. Uh,
yeah, she's been battling some eating disorder. She's been talking about that lately too. 'Cause that was something that I've noticed. I started noticing it about a month ago that she was looking a lot skinnier than she did. Don't worry, Donald, we're almost done. Um, and Rhea did a promo last Friday, and she said that Jade surprised her, and that Jade surprised her and proved that she could go.
Yep, I saw that.
Um, and that's how I was feeling watching this match. It's like, holy cow, there's a complete difference from where she was at even a year ago.
yeah, I wish they would just had her defend the title, a lot more than what she did.
Well,
It's
technically she did, but they were on
on
house
TV.
shows.
It's on
They were on
TV, not
house
your damn
shows.
house show.
Yeah. Um, they probably did that by design. Oh,
So we
I
wouldn't
want to throw
gradually
this.
see how good she's getting, and all of a sudden she sucks, and now she's really good.
I want to throw this out right before this match. They announced a VIP priority pass. Adam Weitzman was sitting at the commentary table with Michael and Wade. He was wearing a headset, but he did not have a microphone. So now we are being shown that people are paying money to sit in the commentary booth for one match
Well,
after paying what? Anybody want to guess? $15,000, $20,000? I'm sure.
well, I saw pictures, but it's ridiculous what they're doing as far as, charging money for this, charging money for that. I saw a post where the green shirt guy was standing by the ring and it has his name on the mat. If you go back and watch WrestleMania, there's this
Yeah,
image of it, there's names all the way around the mat.
the green shirt guy was one of them.
Yeah, they're selling spots on the mat for your name. It's like,
Yeah, I I still don't think there
how
should
much
ever be.
milking can we do?
Huh?
How much milking can we do?
Uh, I think they said that the names on the match were like 10,000.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's
And,
that's people with too much freaking money.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself, I am every bit a fan of wrestling as these other people are. I just don't have the kind of money to be able to go to some of these things.
Hmm.
I don't think I think if I won the lottery, I wouldn't do some shit like that
Yeah,
again. There's
well,
you could take $10,000 instead of putting my damn name on a ring thing. There's $10,000 I can donate to something that actually helps somebody.
just to do what Green Shirt Guy did, two front row tickets, walking down the ramp, who knows what else. The amount of money that he paid for WrestleMania, it would take me 3 years' wages just to make that kind of money.
And I get it. It's your money. You can do what you want to with it. But, just
Yeah,
because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
right.
Uh,
But holy cow.
Well, it gives them more power, saying, oh, yeah, look, we can charge this and people will pay for it. The more people pay for it, the more they up their prices.
I know.
It's the same with concerts. I mean, I'd love to go see some of these people in concerts, but I'll be damned if I'm going to pay a couple $100 just for general admission, you know?
I went to a concert 2 years ago. It was $100, and it was just a small one, like a theater setting, and I had second row.
yeah. We went and seen Air Supply last year with some buddies of mine. Tickets wasn't outrageous. Of course, it's Air Supply. But, uh, I mean, I did a meet and greet with Striper back years ago, and I think meet and greet tickets were like, well, it was uh, seven of us, 6 or 7 of us. They did the meet and greet, and it was under $250 for all of us. Now they're outrageous. It's like a couple $100 for one person.
Hmm.
When you get to the bigger ones like Kiss and Alice Cooper and all that, it's like outrageous amounts of money to do backstage passes. Meet and greets.
We
Yep.
should probably do a show later on, um, doing a study of ticket prices. Go back to WrestleMania 1, and then WrestleMania 10, and so on, and kind of like do a comparison in
You
at
know,
SummerSlam and Monday Night Raws and live shows and things like that.
back in the day, my brother and myself and a couple other people, we used to go every single time wrestling was in town. We used to get tickets and go. That's how cheap they were. Where you could, they were like $20, $25 for good seats. Second row or whatever from the ring. You know, and then they just gradually went up,
Well,
skyrocketed through the roof with everything else.
well, I remember watching local shows from here with Continental Championship Wrestling, Mid South. Okay, and we went to me and my buddy of mine went to any Continental Championship Wrestling match that they were having, in the area. So it was like we drive an hour at most to go to, these spots. And I remember they used to promote it with these big cardboard posters. You remember those?
Yep.
Uh, I'd always because they put them on telephone poles and stuff, and I would go by and I would snatch one of them up and keep it.
Yeah, we had uh,
I don't know whatever happened to all those, but I had a bunch of them
before
back in the
before it
day.
was before we had WWE and WCW when they were in the heyday were coming here too. But before that, it was Vern Gagne's what was it, AWA.
We used to get ringside seats for like I don't know $20, but it wasn't for say this seat or this seat or this seat. It was like you paid ringside, and there may be a hundred seats. I'll just throw out a number, 100 seats at ringside. You pay your money, and it's basically whoever gets in the damn seat first.
Yeah, yeah, and see. AWA when they came here was like that, and they were at a high school, in like a high school gymnasium. They weren't at the Coliseum or anything, main venue.
Man, that poster's bringing back some memories. I'm gonna have
But
to
yeah,
go.
they had those posters all over because I remember when I first went to my first one, I saw Andre the Giant, and it was AWA. He showed up, and he looked like a monster because he had that really long hair.
I would have loved to have seen Andre in person. Never got to.
Oh, he was huge.
I saw him on Mid South on TV. I never saw him in person.
I was sitting right next to the where they come out and come to the ring.
Yeah,
That aisle that they walk down, I was sitting right, and I could reach out and touch Andre
yeah. The biggest guy I guess I've seen
with
there,
his
like
leg.
Batista, he was really close to us back when he was in Legacy.
Now, I remember one event when we had aisle seats, and it shocked my mom this one time because Yokozuna came by, and she said she turned her head and all she saw was red because Yoko's thigh was that
That
big. Was
big.
all she saw. Yeah,
Yeah,
we should definitely do a show where we kind of go through the ticket prices over the years and see, how gradually they went up
he
and where exactly the prices really exploded.
he was a big
I
man.
said,
He
I
broke
was,
his ankle at a wrestling match,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah.
something like that, and they had to bring out a forklift with a pallet on it in order to get him out of the ring.
That was actually
I
planned.
doubt that.
I read that was actually their plan to do it that way.
I don't doubt it one bit.
Yeah, they actually planned it that way because they wanted to really blur those lines.
Right, of how big he actually is. I
Yeah,
mean, you're talking about dead weight with being in the fire service, and we did a lot of lift assists.
Well,
A
that's
lot of
like that.
times, it's ridiculous how
right.
soon
But he
folks
didn't
will.
really break his leg on that one. But I think they actually ran that angle so that they could get him to lose weight.
Yeah, well, it was probably due to somebody like who was it, Mr. Fuji or Bobby the Brain Heenan. They had a couple of the greatest managers and thinkers of all time back then.
Uh, No, Fuji was gone by then. Bobby was gone long before that one, but I think Fuji was already gone at that time too.
Well, see, that's just it. It sucks. They just got. It was a good storyline.
Yeah.
You see this big guy get hauled out, and the fucking, if I remember right, the forklift was actually having trouble when they got him on
Oh,
because the
yeah.
forklift came off its tires and back a little bit.
I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch that one.
I've done it a few times on different truckloads and stuff.
Yeah, but I do remember that forklift, them bringing that out.
You know.
Um, so yeah, Rhea Ripley beat Jade Cargill for the women's championship. Um, kind of a short match, I guess. Rhea had been having a lot longer matches than this one here. But we did get the appearance of Io Sky, who was the world champion the year before and did not get a match this year.
But
Which,
she came out to congratulate Rhea.
yeah, well, she came out to help because B-Fab and Michin were,
Yeah,
um,
I don't like that. You
Did you
know,
see? Did you see after the match was over with when Io came in? Rhea did this. She had her Io's name on her wrist.
yes, I did see that. I did see that.
you know, they need to. Jade needs to be on her own.
She
She
was
don't.
on her own.
She was on her own until
Well, I know, but
the others ended.
she got she got those two, and it makes Michin look kind of bad. You know, it makes her look needy, like she always needs a faction. Make her go out on her own. She was doing good on her own. After AJ, because she was part of that thing with AJ for a while. You know,
Correct, Sticks.
Yeah, she was. I forgot about that.
they need to if they they need to boost these wrestlers, but not need to make these factions all the time. This is
Well,
getting
the
old
way,
if you ain't got a faction to fight the faction with.
the way that whole thing came around just really did not make any sense because one, Jade legitimately hurt both of these women over Christmas,
Right.
and now they teamed up with it makes no
Like
sense.
if you can't beat her, join her.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think
and
it's to
I get
boost
that.
Jade.
you know, I can see how some of them team up. I think and I hope it works for Nia Jax, but she's got a tag team partner in this Lash Legend that might actually do her some good. But in the past,
Well, she got a tag title out of it.
right? But in the past, Nia Jax has proven she doesn't play well with others, even her own bloodline.
That's true.
Well, you
Because
think
she
about
was tag team partners, I thought, oh wow, this would be fucking fabulous. Her and Tamina, they're gonna be unstoppable. No,
What what I like when it comes to people deciding to team up. Do you remember Scott Norton and Ice Train?
vaguely.
They were in WCW and they had a series of matches against each other as singles wrestlers. And they, by the end of the whole thing, they respected each other so much that they decided to team together. And they were a pretty formidable team for a couple of years.
well, see, that's how they need to do things sometimes. You
You know
know,
what? Another idea for some shows is do a faction show or a couple faction shows. Talk about like the Devastation Incorporated and Ravens Flock And
We need to start making a list of the different shows that we do want to do because I remember us talking about this.
The
yeah,
faction, nothing is going to ever beat the Shield. The way that that came about and the way that it showed up all the time, they're going to really have to really think outside the box to beat that.
For
You,
what they accomplished, no, nothing will beat the Shield. But when it comes to making an impact, nothing will touch the NWO.
oh, no, nothing.
Yeah,
Not even the Four Horsemen.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, the NWO surpassed the Four Horsemen.
yes.
Now, I'd love to see them bring in or reunite the Four Horsewomen in WWE, SmackDown, or Raw. They've only been in NXT.
Yeah. I actually watched a clip earlier today uh, about the NWO. At one time, they had 79 members of that faction.
Yeah, they took it too far.
They
yeah.
did, but I didn't think they had that many.
Yeah, they overpopulated it. Then it split. You had the Latino split off, and then you had the Red faction.
Yeah,
All these different factions. Everybody kept joining in. And it's like the whole roster was NWO.
I know. At that point, you don't need WCW anymore.
Right.
No.
So that storyline kind of screwed itself because they let it get too big. They needed to keep it like they did with the Shield. I mean, when the Shield came in, it was awesome, and the way they came down to the ring and all of that, wearing those vests, And I always said right away when I saw the Shield, Roman's gonna go somewheres.
Yeah, he just had that look.
He was the glue holding the whole thing together.
Yep. He had that. He just had that look, and to think he wasn't even supposed to be in it.
And yeah, and then I looked it up right away, and I'm going, oh yeah, he's Samoan. Yeah, he's gonna go far. The Shield's only holding him back. You
Well,
know,
I remember Triple H saying in an interview when he first met Roman before they even hired him, when he interviewed him, he said to somebody, I don't know if it was Vince or Bruce or Michael or whoever, he said that if that kid is not the biggest star in wrestling 5 years from now, we dropped the ball. And it wasn't quite 5 years, but he did end up becoming the biggest.
biggest star
Yeah,
in the company.
yep. And today he still is.
You know,
He has even surpassed Cody. Well, no, I can't even say he surpassed Cody. Cody, even as champion, never surpassed Roman when he wasn't a champion.
When he surpasses Hogan, then we'll talk.
Um,
Never happened.
for WrestleMania main events, he has surpassed him, but as far as cultural impact, nobody will ever touch Hogan.
nope.
Not even Steve Austin, not even The Rock, nobody touches Hogan.
Steve Austin is probably the closest. I will say.
I would agree to that.
And everything had to click at the right time for that, just like Hogan.
Right.
Yeah, well,
You know?
I liked everything that Hogan did for the company before he went and turned and went to WCW and started the NWO thing with them. Because then eventually he decided, with Bischoff, I've got creative control over my character. That's not a good thing.
That was actually thrown in his contract when he
Yeah,
first signed with them.
I know, but I'm just saying that whole creative control thing of his character was not a good thing because it takes away the power of the writers and the people that should have the power are saying, okay, you know, look what happened, the finger death of doom.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of doing that. He kind of ruined wrestling. That part of wrestling, what was going on,
Yeah, well,
because
truthfully,
he didn't think somebody
WCW had
deserved.
already ruined a lot of wrestling even before that one.
I'm just saying, you
But
know,
that little skit definitely didn't help it either.
that whole thing about that get put in his contract should have never got put in his contract.
Yeah, but when you look at him where he was at the moment, do you blame him for putting it in his contract?
I don't blame him for asking. I blame the powers to be for letting it happen.
Yeah.
Because you let that happen, and you got these wrestlers, and you got to admit, they're all egomaniacs at some point in their career.
Yes, they are. Every one of
And
them.
that all comes out in real life.
Yep.
And you take creative control away from the writers and stuff like that, your storylines are going to be all fucked up.
Yep. And I
That's a
think
big no no.
WWE has learned its lesson on that one.
You know, that's the biggest no no. But see, WWE didn't do that. It was WCW that did that.
Well, it was, but I'm pretty sure they had somebody who had, well, like John Cena, I think. There's a lot of accusations where he held a lot of people down and that he changed finishes to some of his matches. Okay, we're about to lose Dawn. We need to move on.
All right. Well, I'm
Medicine
just
kicking
saying no
in.
wrestler should have creative control.
Agreed.
At least if you're, actively wrestling.
Okay, the next, not the match, but the segment. John Cena comes out to announce the night's attendance at 55,000, although a lot of people very heavily dispute that.
Okay.
And The Miz comes out with Kit Wilson, which I was very happy to see because I'm a fan of Kit Wilson, and to see that he had it would have been nice if he had a match, but we got what we got. Um, so Miz starts complaining, bitching about having his WrestleMania moment, and out comes Danhausen with a bunch of little mini Housens.
That was funny.
I
And
love
and it,
Danhausen.
and then Cole says, "It's a bunch of midgets." It's like, and before I could even think about it, he's like, before social media says something, that's what they want us to call them.
Yeah. Um, and Danhausen comes out in this Jeep. And people have been speculating
It's
if
a
this
coffin.
is that what it was?
It was shaped. If you look at it, it was shaped like a coffin to look like
Yeah,
the monster mobile
yeah, it's a coffin.
from the monsters
Okay, I
or
I didn't
monsters.
I
Monsters.
didn't notice that, but there were a lot of people that were wondering if it was a reshaped, repurposed tank
I think
that
it
Shotzi used to have
could be.
because Shotzi said she never got her tank back.
Well, I don't know what it was, but it was shaped like a coffin, and it was supposed to look like the thing from the monsters.
Okay, so
Well,
Because his
I'll have to
character,
go back and look at it.
Danhausen's character, is based on Grandpa, and is and if you listen when they announce Danhausen and stuff, they give the address to that house.
No,
no,
he's
before.
next to that house. He lives next to that house. He's
He's
not
a neighbor to the
1313, he's
monsters.
1311.
Well, whatever, it's just like all screams the
Yeah.
monster.
Because my 1313 is the monsters'
Mockingbird
house.
Lane, yeah.
Yeah, 1313 is where the monsters live, but I think they give his address as
1311.
1311.
Yeah.
And I love it. I absolutely love
But
it.
either way, it was a reference to the monsters.
Yes. Um,
I
and
like
then
what they're doing with his character and all, and actually getting some matches now instead of just being the joke. Actually enjoy him now that I know who he is, and his
yeah.
whole his whole debut sucked.
And they dropped the ball with him too.
Well, with
Yeah.
that, there was a lot of expectation of Chris Jericho coming out of the box, so you got to take that into account too.
Well, even with Y2J, think about back when he came out. They
Yeah.
were building his something big is happening. They kept doing the clock, you know, for
Right.
months.
And the clock right there, that's what Jericho used.
Yeah, and for months, pushing this big thing, and then when he comes out, it's like they build that suspense up when he shows up. With Downhouse, they didn't do shit except for this wooden crate. There's a wooden
Right.
crate. Just move this wooden crate all over the country, and then he just
So
pops out.
everybody was wanting Chris Jericho, and nobody else was going to be good enough, and that's what hurt Danhausen that night. But when he came to Monday Night Raw the next night, or whenever it was, he immediately flipped that switch on everybody and got over.
Yeah, well, you kind of knew.
Yeah, but I would have, and even though the segment that we got was very entertaining, I would have much rather have had a last minute match with Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. Kit was dressed to wrestle,
Hmm. Yeah, he was.
so why not just do like a 2 or 3 minute squash match? They both earned it. They're there. Just get everybody else out of there and a referee in there. 1, 2, 3, boom.
Yep.
And Danhausen could have done that "You Are Cursed" pyro thing on Kit, which would have gotten super over with those 50,000 people. But either way, I enjoyed the thing, and I watched the thing here. They were talking about the whole thing like the day before, and it sounded like it was Miz's idea to have the midgets carry him out,
Mm.
and that he was fighting really hard to not laugh as they were carrying him out.
I could see that though.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I thought the whole thing was great. It At least it gave Kit Wilson and Danhausen a WrestleMania moment. But I really wish they could have had a match. That way they would have had 7 matches night one, 7 matches night two.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was super happy that they got that. But I think the match would have been even better. All right, let's move on to the main event so that we can get Don out of here. I can tell you're struggling.
Yes, the sinus stuff is just killing me, man.
Now it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that whole 1 hour. This is 1 hour. It's just now for 2 hours.
I
Yep.
know. I know. Well, like Joe said, we're going to be talking about other things, and I feel bad about the Trick William Sami Zayn match. That one suffered the most for us trailing off to other things there.
You know, that's just the way it is when it comes to wrestling.
I know it is. So, we go into the main event. Um, the way that they introduced Roman Reigns was really awesome. Having the vocalist, the piano player, and the drum beat.
Not only that, the Samoan family
Yes.
lineage all over.
They had Yokozuna. There were six of them, I think. They had Yoko, Peter Maivia, Sika, Appa, and Umaga and Jamal or Rosie, whichever the other one was.
I forgot about
And they also brought back his original tribal chief music, which
music. Yep.
I like that much better than the one that he had been using the past couple years.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah,
as soon as he come out, he just has that presence there, like he is the star of the company. Is that
yeah. Well, you know, that was one hell of a match, one hell of an entrance. You know,
That
I
match
always,
was off the chain.
I always liked the Samoans, and I think it's only fitting that Roman went back to the old stuff because some of that new stuff kind of sucked.
it did? Yeah, I did not like that new OTC music that he had. I just did not like that.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Well, I think that they changed it because he had turned face, so they needed to change the music a little bit.
but sometimes you just don't do that all the time. You know, they didn't do that in the past.
I know.
When the guy changed one way or the other, his music always stayed the same.
And speaking of music, did you notice that? Well, I don't know if you watched Ring of Honor. I didn't, but I knew about it. But CM Punk, when they started bringing him out, they were playing his original Ring of Honor music. And then all of a sudden, the weird part was he came out from behind to no music.
And that whole seat of blacked out,
Yeah,
just no color.
that I don't know how I feel about that because to me it seemed like he was really awkward. Him coming out and all of these people watching him, and there's no one's making a sound until he does that is clobbering time, and then Cult of Personality comes out.
Yeah, see,
He did that at Raw the next night too.
Yeah, I like it better the other way.
they shouldn't change stuff when it ain't broken. Don't fix it. You know,
Yeah, but they were bringing back a part of his history.
Well, go back to the original. Go back to the new one. And
it,
that first pop of music coming on just like excites everybody.
Yeah,
So
it covered the very beginnings of his
it's
career.
like when that glass broke when Stone Cold came out. You know, that glass breaking was everything.
Yep,
You know, because you heard that, you knew shit was going to hit the fan and get real.
yep.
You know,
Um, let's talk about CM Punk's jacket. So his jacket was a literal tribute to a bunch of fallen friends. He had, and he even mentioned this the next night too, that it seemed like every other week they were losing somebody from the production family.
right,
And he had those three on the one sleeve. He
that's
had a
what.
Puerto Rican flag on the other sleeve for AJ. He had Bo. I think he was his MMA trainer. He had his name on the front.
no, he had his dog's name on the front.
He had no. He had his dog's picture on the front.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it the picture?
yeah,
Well, like a drawing of him.
And
Well,
then left side, left lapel, like the
because he
pocket.
lost his dog Larry just before that,
Yeah,
not
back
too long
in
before WrestleMania or
before
something.
no, right before the Survivor Series.
Oh, was yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Patch,
Okay,
yeah,
patch.
patch.
Um, and he also had something on the back. I don't remember what that was, but I don't know if that was a tribute to anybody.
That was a tribute to Harley Race, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
the
Yes.
whole jacket was a tribute.
Yeah. And Michael Cole talked about all of those things except for Larry. So I don't understand why he didn't bring Larry up, but he brought everybody else up.
Well, because I don't know, he's
Unless
a
he was
moron
asking not
maybe.
to.
To
Yeah, the Harley Race crown. That's what it was on the back. Yeah, to
Yeah.
Harley Race.
So that I thought that was really really awesome.
At first, I thought it was a Crown Royal jacket. Well,
Well,
because of his Pepsi logo tattoo,
I thought, at first when I saw it, I was like, it's just a jacket he's got. Well, he got this certain jacket with this emblem on it, for King of the Ring or whatever, and then he's got these people's names put on it. But,
yeah,
you know,
that would have been completely against his straight edge character. Well, not character is how he lives his life.
I'm just, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that crown on the back. And I don't even drink. But my brother drinks Crown Royal, so I only know that purple crown and stuff because I bought it for him for Christmas before.
Okay. But yeah, like you said, that match was a hell of a match. It was
That was
definitely
the
a
true
match of the
slobber knocker of the match
yeah, it
of
was
the night.
definitely a match of the entire event.
I agree.
Um, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. Should or shouldn't Roman Reigns have gotten disqualified when he threw the ring
Steps.
steps into CM Punk? Yeah, we're getting close to losing Donald.
Well, it goes back to because I saw this on social media about he should have gotten disqualified. He's not supposed to do that. Like people, it's part of the show. It's scripted. You know, but in reality, yes.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
if you look at it as a realistic thing that we do, they should have distracted the referee should have been distracted with anything while Roman did that, and not have him just sit there and witness, an actual disqualification type move.
Well, Michael did say that the referee was being
Being lenient.
lenient, and I would say that if it had been any other match on the card, it would have been an automatic disqualification. But because this was the match, he let it go.
Well, I mean, storyline wise, if you're gonna let that go, how much more can you let go?
uh,
You know,
Uh,
it's like they botched that whole. They totally
yeah,
screwed up a bunch of stuff during this WrestleMania. One being we talked about this last show with with Becky and Jessica Carr. They
oh
screwed
yeah.
that whole ending up.
well, I think the referees have been letting the wrestlers get away with a lot more because I've seen a lot of things that people should have been disqualified for.
Well, you think about this.
Past. And
Back
it's
in
not
the
just on pay-per-views. I've seen it on Monday Night Raw. I've seen it on SmackDown. You know, there's things that wrestler. Now obviously the ref sees it. He does. You know, but they let it slide.
Well, you think about this. Back in the day, say in the '80s, you couldn't hit anybody with a foreign object. You couldn't hit with a chair. You couldn't hit them. You couldn't hit them. Throw them into the ring posts on the outside. That was automatic disqualification.
Yeah,
Now that's a common thing, and also the announce table.
yeah. They bust that more. How many times now they got it reinforced and they still bust it apart?
Yeah, I like it the way they got it now because back in the day, I actually watched WrestleMania. Which one was it? It was Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels,
14.
and Kane and Taker.
That would
Um,
have been WrestleMania 14.
14. So I watched that one, the end of it, a couple of nights ago. But you you think back, all of that. When did it change so much to where the announce table gets used almost, every show, whether it be a PLE or just a Raw or a SmackDown, something gets destroyed every show.
Yep.
Well, the first time the announce table was used was Survivor Series 95. That was when Diesel powerbombed Brett into the table. That was the first that was the first time anybody had used tables in that manner. Now there was one match with Hulk Hogan and Harley Race where what was it? I think Harley had Hogan on the table and Harley jumped from the ring apron. He was going to do like the headbutt, but Hogan moved and Harley went through, but didn't break the table.
Ooh,
Uh, I think that might have been the first time a table had actually been used in a match. I'm not 100% positive, but in terms of using the table in the manner that we know now, it was Diesel and Brett at Survivor Series 95.
okay.
That's 30 years ago.
Yeah, and now you got tables, ladders, and chairs all being
Oh
used
my.
in matches.
Yeah.
Tables,
Because
ladders, and
they were
chairs.
made
Oh my.
famous. That TLC match was made famous by the Hardys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
Tables,
Rude.
ladders, and chairs. Oh
Oh
my.
my!
Yeah, that's what I
Uh,
said.
And then that one year they added the stairs to it. Like, come on.
Yeah, you think about that. Stairs get used a lot. You throw people into the stairs. Remember Jade getting her head gashed open.
Use more than the tables do.
mhm.
But yeah, I think that because of the main event and what was on the line, that's why they did the whole lenient thing. Any other match, it would not have been the case. Uh, I liked how both, especially Roman, he was taunting Punk throughout the whole match, just talking shit to him. Punk was giving it back, and then let's see, I think it was real early on. Punk was trying something. He couldn't get Roman turned, or Roman was trying to turn. One of them was trying to turn the other into something. It was almost like the Unprettier that Christian does, and Punk finally had enough and pushed Roman and said something about lathering yourself up with all that baby oil.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that because he's complained about that in interviews. CM Punk has complained about that in interviews about Roman.
Yeah,
In previous interviews, he's like always complaining about all the baby oil on Roman's body. And
yeah, but Roman's not the only one who uses it, though.
I know, but he was in a feud with Roman at the time, so Roman was his target.
That was funny, and how they were using each other's moves.
That I think that's always fun to watch in a match. When you got two good athletes like CM Punk and Roman trying to use their moves against them. I I love that when they do that.
Now, do you think that we will see a match where somebody will actually win using the other guy's move?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't think we've had that happen yet.
I
But
don't think
I
so.
think it would
Other
be
Cade,
awesome.
other Cade and Taker.
Huh?
Cade and Taker's done it. They kind of have the same move set.
True, but I don't recall Kane ever pinning the Undertaker using the tombstone. I know Undertaker has, but
You know,
that was his move, not Kane's originally.
see if they want to build somebody to be the next Taker or somebody like that, like the Taker.
Yeah.
They should build up Damian Priest because the way he walks those ropes and the way he does those moves. Yeah, I've seen him use the Undertaker's moves
Yep.
on people, and as well as the Razor's Edge. You
They
know,
were building him up for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like they just dropped him.
he could be easily be the next Taker type, type wrestler.
Uh, I'm kind of leaning towards Danhausen on that one.
Ha ha.
Hey, Danhausen has a great pop setup.
I get it, but he's kind of small compared to what the Undertaker was. Unless he's magically going to grow overnight.
Oh, wouldn't that be something if we saw a giant Danhausen come out one night?
Well, anything's possible. Remember, we saw two Undertakers.
Yes, we did. And
I
you
don't
know
know.
what? I still enjoy that match. I know a lot of people crap on it, but holy cow, the hype leading up to it.
You know, the whole thing was, and looked it up once, and I don't remember, but they sure did get somebody to step in that looked a lot like the real Undertaker. You
I want
know,
to say he was his cousin, but I'm not positive on
it was like part of the storyline was like they found somebody on the street, like some old drunk, and dressed him up to look like the Undertaker, and because it was who was it?
it
God,
was.
I remember that match. There was a manager on each side, wasn't there?
Yeah,
It was
Paul Bearer had the real Undertaker, and
DiBiase.
DiBiase had the fake Undertaker.
the other Undertaker was Brian Lee, who would end up being Chains for the DOA faction.
Brian Lee in '94. Close
Yeah,
friend of Mark Calloway.
but he did a good job.
He was a friend of the Taker. He was a friend of Taker.
Well, that explains why he did a good job.
Yeah.
For some
You
reason,
know,
I was thinking he was.
because the only difference between the two that you could tell were the gloves and boots. One was gray and the other one was purple.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So I would, now that we've seen a bunch of the mini housings, I'd like to see a giant housing. That's just the next step.
He was in DOA. Brian Lee was.
Um, but let's try to get the Roman and Punk thing. So this match went on for 34 minutes, and there at the end, Punk got Roman into the GTS, and then had him bounce back on top of him like what he had been doing with Seth Rollins, and got him up. But before he could throw him, he collapsed. And then Roman got him with the spear. One, two, three. He won the title.
That was a good story telling in that match. Punk did a really good job with the whole whole gimmick of selling. Did a real good job selling.
Well, I don't think there was much on selling it because those two really do hate each other. You know, Punk made that perfectly clear in a couple of interviews. He's like, "This isn't no storyline or anything. I really hate this man."
Oh, Roman has said it too.
Yeah, they had true animosity against each other, and
But at the end of the day, they take care of business.
well, they did a
Business
good job.
Yeah.
That was one hell of a match. I mean, I thought the Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi was going to steal the night, but it didn't because it ended too quick.
Too quick to do it at the beginning. It just
And like Jeremy said, I gotta. You may be right. There might be something going on
um,
with Brock. Because of the way that ended, the way what he did when it was over. And I've seen Brock Lesnar, go through some hellish matches that lasted for a good 30, 40 minutes, you know.
Well,
And I was expecting that kind of a match.
I would definitely say that Roman Reigns and CM Punk is a match of the year candidate
yeah.
for sure. Because that was damn near close to a perfect match.
They took each other to the limits and then some.
And you could see it too. They were both spent after the whole thing. And then Roman celebrated with his family at the end, and he even had his two young twins throwing the ones in the air.
Yeah, he probably ended up sleeping for the next couple of days.
Did you see him?
Probably did, yeah.
Well, actually, he couldn't because of Raw, but
Did you see when Punk went outside and took the little fall off from that fan?
Do what now?
took the Ula Fala off of a fan.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then at the end of it, Roman picked it up and threw it back to the fan. You know, because at first I thought, well, why does this guy got Roman's little follow? And later I saw it on when Roman won. Of course, he had his on, and then he saw the one on the corner, and he threw it back to the fan. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was another nice little touch there. And then after the match, we didn't get to see it until a couple of days later. But as Punk was coming back up the ramp, a fan gave him a shirt. Something about CM Punk baby girl thing.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, a fan made a shirt specifically for him. I don't know if that was like a reference to something, but apparently he took it to heart.
Hmm.
Um, but he ended up putting the shirt on right then and there.
Well, on like the post show, Rhea was out there, and there was they had some little girl that was on Rhea, kind of acknowledge her on that. And I saw on a video where she found her and brought her backstage, took pictures with her.
Oh, the girl that does the sign language?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
her.
did see that one. Because that little girl was sitting next to the Brock Lesnar guy.
Well, I think it goes to show though, and unfortunately that'll have to go with the thing when we discuss ticket prices. But I've always noticed that over the years, it was hard to you know, meet wrestlers. They always had like security around them when they used to walk to the ring back in the day, and I'm talking late 70s, early 80s. And then nowadays you see, oh, they're actually reaching out to the fans, and I think that is a good thing to show that more often because it shows you a different side of the people that portray these characters.
Well, that too, and
You
it's like,
always see them do the thing. Rhea gets there, she's got no makeup on and stuff like that. Yeah, that's one thing, but showing the total another side of Rhea, like with a kid, taking her picture, bringing her backstage and stuff, is something that's going to make her look better in the audience's eyes because you're showing the real person, not the character.
well,
You know?
kind of. I always thought about, you got all these famous people. Yeah, they got regular lives like anybody else, and you got a. I for one is like, there's a time and place. Don't follow them to the hotel like they did with Randy. And
Oh, that was
Right.
did with Punk.
Right. Well, don't
And
do that. But when you're at the
but
event, you could take the time out to,
right,
you know,
show
yeah.
appreciation for the people that are
paying your
basically paying your
paycheck
salary.
because
Yeah,
everybody that buys a ticket is paying their paycheck.
I
You know,
agree.
and it's the same with a concert or whatever. I mean, it's different. I wouldn't go tracking down a movie star or something at their hotel. That's wrong. You're invading their private space in that moment because
The
that's their
one with
private
Bailey
space.
and BJ?
But
But
when it's announced that, oh, we're doing a filming of a movie up here on such and such, and they give you the address and everything, and then there's a whole crowd while they're doing the filming of this movie, and you got two big stars, never come to Madison before. Okay, one sits there and takes the time out because there's a big crowd after they're done filming the scenes and stuff. Signs autographs, shakes hands, so on and so forth. Takes pictures. The other one comes out, rushes right to the limousine and hides.
The
You
one
know,
that I didn't like was when
and that
one fan kept shoving the phone in Bailey and AJ's face while they were trying to have a private moment. CM Punk came out and knocked that phone out of his hand.
well, yeah, that that stuff you can't do.
your boundaries.
There's a time and place for things, and see, that's why I say, I, I don't like Julia Roberts because she didn't take time out. But the other guy, what was it? Can't think who it was. Nick Nolte, because they were filming that movie I Love Trouble, you know, and they did the whole thing. He comes out, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Sure, they're tired, but people were standing out on the street for hours watching this all go on. He signs autographs, takes pictures, and she just like hides her face and
Everybody.
runs away. And it's like, what a bitch, you know. You pay to see the movie and all of this and buy tickets, and that pays their paycheck in my eyes. They can't take the time out to say hi or take a picture or sign an autograph when you sit there and wait all night. That's bullshit.
I can understand it if it's at the venue, but I think that these people were trying to get to their rooms after wrestling.
Well, yeah, I can see that. You don't go to a hotel or go into a hotel room or follow them, you know.
Yeah, because that after a long night for me, when I'm ready to get in the room and go to bed, that's all I want to do. I don't give a shit who's around.
Right. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, during after the wrestling event, we waited outside, out and back, where they used to drive the cars in, to the
Yeah.
garage part, and you'd see them get in, and that's when I found out. I that's before KFAB was busted wide open, but I saw the Ultimate Warrior get in a limo with Yokozuna after the two of them having one hell of a match together. You know, because you saw
Yeah.
Yokozuna get in the limo, and then they brought the garage door down. And all you saw was like the legs, and obvious it was the Ultimate Warrior because he still had his wrestling gear on when he got in the limo. They
Well,
were just hiding his face.
back in the day, we used to go watch the small shows, Continental Championship. They had all the guys. It was in a little big coliseum that we had. We got a couple of dressing rooms, and all the wrestlers were in the same damn little dressing room. So they come out, and then you hear, a couple of these guys that are fighting each other, hate each other. A few minutes ago, you hear one of them say, "What are we eating after we get done with all this?"
Yeah,
You know, so,
they go to the same bar. But back then in the 70s, though, they'd come out every now and then. They wouldn't get in their cars and leave right away. Some of them would actually come out and address the small crowd that was standing right there. And I'll never forget when you remember the manager they called, what was his name, Slick?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He come out and he was gonna thought he was gonna, and oh my God, the people there just went nuts. Like, you son of a bit, they were like cursing him and stuff like this because they hated who he was managing and the way he was managing people and stuff. And
Oh yeah, a lot of people did.
he
No.
was sitting there like eating it up with his like walking stick and his hat and stuff. And oh my God, he
yeah.
put on a show for the crowd, and
You stay true to your character, and
oh, he did. He stayed true to his character 100%, and it's like they didn't break their characters when they
His,
came out and saw the
probably
crowd.
his best time was when he was managing Akeem because he always did that dance during the entrance. Okay, so I know we rated night one pretty bad. For me, it was 6 out of 10, but for night two, I give this one a 10 out of 10. It was a much better show than the first night was.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing, but I still say maybe an 8 out of
that's
10
what I was going
because
with. Eight out of 10.
because I still think the Oba Femi match could have been better.
I think Sammy and Trick could have been better. I think Oba and Brock could have been a lot better. You know, I understand why they do two nights because you're there all week anyways. You got a lot more matches. Uh, having the two nights, but like, what's the purpose of having 2 nights of half your matches or just crap thrown
Well,
together?
they're going to
Well,
do that again.
rumor that next year's WrestleMania might be one night because
Well,
of it being in Saudi.
they're doing 2 nights again and
No,
for
they're gonna milk it.
SummerSlam and other things.
They're gonna milk 2 nights out of it.
Yeah, I'm
Double
okay with
ticket
SummerSlam
sales.
2 nights. I want to see the Rumble be 2 nights. Go back to the old way of having four undercard matches and then the Rumble match.
Yeah, now you got kind of two Rumble matches because you got the women and the men's.
So that's why I'd be okay with them doing 2 nights of the Rumble, having like an all women's Rumble night and an all men's Rumble night.
Yeah, because and then make it all the night of the women and night of the men.
Right.
All the matches be the men's matches on night one, and all the women's
I would be more than happy if they did it that way.
That would be a different way of looking at things for putting things night one, night two. I mean, you're going to have a hell of a lot of women there for the Royal Rumble, for the Women's Royal Rumble in the first place. The
Right.
roster is much bigger than it used to be because they've got two women's titles and the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title. That's and the tag title. There's your matches right there. Have them defend some of them titles.
Exactly. That's why I would like to see them do the 2 night Rumble match and 4 matches. Okay. Before we wrap up, Backlash is coming up in a week and a half. We've already got 3 matches signed. Roman Reigns defending the title against Jacob Fatu. We have Asuka taking on Io Sky. And then we have Braun Breaker taking on Seth Rollins. I'm sure we'll probably end up getting 2 more matches in the meantime so they can have their normal 5. Um, to close out the show, I think that we need to acknowledge the recent releases that they've had. They got rid of a shitload of people last week. Many of them were surprises. From the main roster, they released Santos Escobar from AAA, Alba Fire. She was kind of a surprise because of her thing with Chelsea Green.
Yeah, the Secret Her Service.
Yes. Apollo Cruz, although I'm not really surprised by that because they didn't use him for anything for a long time. Um, Aleister Black and Selena Vega. That those two were a surprise.
Yep,
The entire Wyatt Six are gone.
that
Big
was a
surprise
shocker.
there. The biggest surprise was Kyrie Sane. Um,
Kabuki Warriors are no longer, but yet they mentioned them at WrestleMania.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one that I felt like really hurt was Zoe Stark because she was still recovering from that a devastating knee injury, so she never even got a chance to get back into the ring.
Well, they didn't give her much of a chance to begin with.
They didn't, but every time she was
They
in the
did
ring,
right before she
she
got
was
hurt.
great.
They were starting to push her a little bit before she got hurt.
Yeah. So everybody was, even the company was expecting to push her again. They said that they had big things planned for her, and then all of a sudden she was gone.
Yeah,
Then they released a bunch of NXT people. One was Andre Chase, who was never going to make it to the main roster, but he was there for the talent. He was more trainer than anything. Tyra May Steele, she was released. She's an Olympic champion the last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was. Then a whole bunch of names that I don't even know who they were. But they got rid of all of those people, and in the meantime, we've had several call-ups. So Ruka, Ethan Page, and Joe Hendry are now a part of the Raw brand. Ricky Saints and Blake Monroe are coming up to SmackDown. Fatal Influence have already made their debut, and holy cow, they got nuclear heat already.
Um, Soul is supposed to have a special spot on Raw where she signs
Yeah,
on Monday night. So, God, if they drop the ball on her, I'll be so pissed.
I
well,
I, I
She's
think
my
with
favorite.
her, it's going to be very hard for them to drop the ball on her.
She is my favorite.
Yeah, and we had a number of new people show up on NXT. Um, Maxine Dupree's husband, his name is Anthony Lewis, but he's now going by a different name. Cam Hendricks made his debut finally. Japanese wrestler Evil has made his debut. He is actually Io Sky's fiance.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know she was dating anybody, but he's
Um,
her fiance. Some guy
with the guy
named,
with the hood.
huh?
With the guy with the hood.
Yes,
Are they doing that?
yes. Some guy named Tristan Angels made his debut. I have no clue who he is. Tate Wilder, I think. Again, no clue who he is. Then we had this huge man come in and do a moonsault off the top rope onto Tony D'Angelo, and it turns out that his name is actually William Cruz, 19 years old.
Wow.
Uh, and I'm missing somebody. There were six of them: Cruz, Angels, Hendricks, Evil. Uh, I know I'm missing somebody. Can't think of it. But we got a lot of new talent coming in now on NXT, and a lot of talent moved from NXT to the main roster. So I think we're going to be looking pretty good here for this summer. So
Hopefully by this summer I'll be able to submit the song is crap.
what's that?
If you're hoping this summer for sure, by the summer I'll be able to sign is crap. That's good.
So are you ready for us to let you go so you can go to bed, Donald?
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Okay.
another sinus pill. Then I'm gonna, I think I might take two. Knock myself out.
Uh, so this episode is going to mark my last show for the rest of the summer. I will not be doing anything until SummerSlam review, not preview, review. So that's going to give me 3 months off, but that'll also give me time to go through all my procedures because I don't really like doing this off camera stuff. I'm only doing it specifically for WrestleMania.
If you
Uh,
do you like the unseen comic for the bag over your head?
do what?
If you do like the unseen comic back in the '80s, the unknown comic, excuse me, the unknown comic. There was a comic that a comedian that stood up on stage and did stand up and had a paper bag over his head with a
Wow.
smiley face on it.
I don't know. I'd rather just keep my nose out of it since my nose is the
Hey,
one that is
did you
going.
see the did you see the newest Street Fighter uh, trailer?
I seen a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Didn't they make a Street Fighter movie
Years
like a
ago,
long time ago and it bombed?
yeah.
I don't recall.
Christopher Lloyd was a bad guy in it.
I remember there was a Mortal Kombat movie.
No, there's
Yeah,
been a
there
lot
was
of
a Street
Mortal
Fighter
Kombat
too.
movies, but
There was
I
a
think
Street
there was
Fighter
only
movie.
one Street Fighter movie that was released and it bombed really bad. I saw it once, but there's a lot of wrestlers in this new one. Cody, Roman Reigns, Jason Momoa, and I forgot who else. But they're all playing different, you know.
The characters in the game.
So it should be interesting.
Okay, so while I will be going away for a while, I think Mark on Wrestling is going to try to continue schedules pending. Um, So I think Joe is going to step into my spot for a little while until I'm able to come back. But again, this is all going to depend on scheduling.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it alive. We're gonna keep it going until you get back.
I have an open schedule pretty much. So it's all going to be based on Don and his schedule. So
And his is
he's
always,
just got to let me know when he wants to do one, and we'll do one.
Mine's crazy.
You
When is
know,
backlash is on the 9th? Yep, backlash is on the 9th. So we could do a pre-show, maybe the 8th.
sure.
Okay,
What is that? A Friday?
Friday, a week from Friday.
Yeah,
there you guys go. We can take up the spot of Insane Asylum and 13th Dimension, try to use up those 2 hours and be done by SmackDown.
yeah, because that's one night I have to get done early, early and ish. So, because I won't be around to watch Backlash. I'll have to watch it when I get home because on the 9th, I'm going to a Paracon in Fond du Lac, I think it is.
I got it written on my
It's
calendar.
like the Midwest largest Paracon or whatever. It's sponsored by my friend Barnaby Jones. So, and I already got tickets and paid for them. So my wife and I are going to that.
Well, we can schedule it. Oh,
Oh,
excuse me.
Friday's good.
Okay.
Hopefully by then your sinuses have calmed down.
God, I hope so. It's been horrible today.
Yeah, you've looked miserable all night tonight.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be all right a couple of days. I may have to get a shot.
Okay, well we'll go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Thank you so much for playing along with us and sticking
Uh,
it out with us for 3 hours when I originally was hoping for 1 hour. But we get
It is
sidetracked.
what it is.
It is what it is. Yep.
it is. Yep.
So come back and join next Friday. And yeah,
Friday.
next Friday on the 8th, watch these two yahoos talk about backlash.
We'll have a lot of stuff going on by then. Hopefully, we'll know a lot more.
Well, I would hope so. That's the day before the event. They should have other matches announced by then.
I think they should have everything announced by this next coming SmackDown.
Knowing them, they'll have everything announced and all the surprises given out already before the show.
Yeah. Well, they're banking on the names themselves now, selling them out. Sure,
Yeah.
it did not work for WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and call it a night, and guess we will see you all next week.
See you later.
Have a good night, or in my case, a good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
It's
It's
almost
almost,
morning here.
yeah, almost 1 a.m. here. So, um, and I know that weather has been horrendous. I know up here is like we cannot get through 3 days without rain.
Oh yeah, it's been raining the past couple of days. It came a bad storm last night when I was at work. Knocked
Yeah,
out power here and there. But
it's been relentless.
yeah, it's one
Uh,
thing after another.
all right. Well, we'll go ahead and call it a night. Everybody out there, be safe wherever you're at, and
Everything's possible. Remember that.
yep, we will see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.